Eric Wells rubbed his tired eyes and reached for his coffee mug. The night shift at the Alaska listening station was usually quiet, but tonight was different. The strange signal had begun 3 hours ago. At first, Eric thought it was just cosmic background noise, the kind that sometimes filtered through their advanced receivers. But this pattern was too regular, too structured. It pulsed with mathematical precision that couldn't be natural. "You should really get some rest," said Betty, the station's senior technician. She peered over his shoulder at the dancing patterns on his screen. "Can't. Not yet." Eric adjusted a few settings, watching as the signal clarified further. "This isn't random, Betty. Someone sent this." Betty's smile faded as she studied the screen. "I'll call Director Mason." Within an hour, the small listening station became a hive of activity. Government officials in heavy winter coats filed in, their breath visible in the cold Alaskan air. Military personnel set up additional equipment. Eric continued working, translating the complex signal into something understandable. By morning, he had it. The message was clear, delivered in multiple Earth languages with perfect grammar and syntax. It was addressed simply to the governing bodies of Earth. Director Mason read the translation aloud to the now crowded room. "This communication serves as official notice from the Galactic Council, representing 327 spacefaring civilizations. Earth has progressed to a development stage requiring formal contact. Your species' rapid technological advancement and space exploration efforts must cease immediately. Humans have displayed behaviors and evolutionary traits unsuitable for peaceful integration with galactic society. This is our formal warning. Further advancement beyond your planetary system will result in corrective measures." Silence filled the room. One of the military officers laughed nervously. "Is this some kind of joke?" someone finally asked. Director Mason shook his head. "The signal origin is approximately 2.7 light-years away. It bypassed all our standard communication channels. This is real." 3 days later, Kate Dawson stepped through the security checkpoint at the newly established First Contact Response Center in Washington, D.C. Her military uniform felt stiff and uncomfortable as she showed her credentials to 4 different security teams. Major Dawson, a thin man in a dark suit, greeted her. "I'm Sam Wright, National Security Advisor. Thank you for coming on such short notice." Kate nodded. Hard to say no when the president calls personally. Indeed. Sam led her through a maze of hallways into a large conference room. Around an oval table sat representatives from every major nation. Screens on the walls displayed military readiness reports, satellite imagery, and copies of the alien message. "We've kept this contained so far," Sam explained quietly. "But we can't keep it secret forever. Rumors are already spreading." A tall woman approached them. "You must be Major Dawson. I'm Olivia Chen, UN Secretary General. We've created a special task force, and we want you to lead the military contingent." Kate blinked in surprise. "With respect, ma'am, there must be more qualified. Your background in xenolinguistics combined with your military experience makes you uniquely qualified," Olivia interrupted. "Plus, you wrote that paper on theoretical first contact scenarios that caught our attention." Kate felt a chill. That paper had been written as a thought experiment during her time at West Point. She never imagined it would become relevant. As the meeting progressed, world leaders debated strategies. Some advocated immediate compliance. Others insisted on defiance. A few questioned if the message was authentic at all. After the meeting, Kate found Eric Wells sitting alone in the building's cafeteria. He looked exhausted. "You're the translator," she said, sitting across from him. Eric nodded. "And you're the new military liaison. I wanted to ask you something off the record." Kate leaned forward. "Do you think the translation is complete? Accurate?" Eric hesitated. "The words are right, but there's something else in the signal. Patterns I can't quite figure out. Almost like..." "Like what?" "Like they've sent this message before. To other worlds." Eric looked up at her, worry clear in his eyes. And I don't think those worlds exist anymore. 6 months passed since the Council's warning. The world governments had kept the message secret, but rumors spread anyway. People noticed the sudden halt of space missions and the increased military presence around major research facilities. Lisa Graham worked late in her laboratory at the National Advanced Physics Center. Papers covered her desk, and 3 empty coffee cups sat beside her computer. On her screen, complex equations scrolled by, highlighting a pattern that shouldn't exist. "You need to stop this research," Dr. Alan Perry said from the doorway. His voice was low but firm. Lisa didn't look up. "I'm almost there, Alan. The equations point to a way to bend spacetime that no one has tried before." Alan stepped inside and closed the door. The directive was clear. All faster-than-light research is suspended until further notice. "They didn't tell us why," Lisa said, finally looking at him. 6 years of work, and suddenly we're ordered to stop without explanation. "It's a funding issue," Alan said, not meeting her eyes. "That's a lie." Lisa stood up. "The military doubled the physics budget last quarter. Something else is happening." Alan sighed. "Lisa, please, just follow orders." After he left, Lisa called Paul Harrison. Paul had worked with her for years, his engineering skills perfectly complementing her theoretical approach. "I need your help," she said when he answered. "Meet me at the old Westridge facility tonight. Use the back entrance." Paul arrived at the abandoned research building 3 hours later. The facility had been shut down years ago, but was still owned by the government. "This is crazy," Paul said as Lisa unlocked the door using an old access code. "We could lose our jobs for this." "We could make history instead," Lisa replied. Inside, she switched on the lights, revealing dusty equipment covered with sheets. "Help me set up the test chamber." They worked through the night, connecting old systems to new devices Lisa had smuggled out of her lab. By morning, they had a working prototype of a device that could create a tiny faster-than-light field. "The theory is solid," Lisa explained as they prepared for the first test. "The field creates a bubble outside normal spacetime. Anything inside would move faster than light without actually breaking Einstein's laws." "If it works," Paul said. "It will work," Lisa insisted. "And when it does, we can take our findings public. They can't stop scientific progress." Across the country, Kate Dawson sat in a classified briefing room deep beneath the Pentagon. For months, she had led a team analyzing the Council's message and coordinating the global response. "Major Dawson," General Richard Ford said, sliding a folder across the table, "your security clearance has been upgraded. These files were just to classify for your eyes only." Kate opened the folder and froze. Inside were photographs and reports dating back to 1947. "This isn't the first contact," she whispered. "No," General Ford confirmed. "The Council has been watching us for centuries. The Roswell incident, the Phoenix Lights, the Belgian UFO wave, all Council observation missions." Kate flipped through the documents, and each time they left warnings, increasingly stern ones. The general pointed to a timeline. Religious events, natural disasters, some were disguised warnings according to our analysts. The message 6 months ago was just the first direct communication. "Why didn't you tell me this before?" Kate demanded. "Need to know basis," Ford said simply. "And now you need to know because of what's happening." He switched on a screen showing a satellite image of North America. Several small red dots blinked in various locations. "What are these?" Kate asked. "Energy signatures we can't explain," Ford replied. "Similar to theoretical faster-than-light experiments. Someone isn't following orders. Major, find them before the Council does." As Ford spoke, Lisa and Paul activated their prototype. A small sphere of warped light appeared above their device, then vanished with a soft pop. Their equipment registered a successful test. The field had briefly existed outside normal space. "We did it," Lisa whispered, her face glowing with triumph. In orbit around Earth, a hidden sensor array registered the event. A signal traveled outward, racing toward the distant Galactic Council. The humans had just crossed a line they weren't meant to cross. The sky above New York City darkened as if a storm was coming, but the clouds moved in impossible patterns, swirling into a perfect circle. Similar events happened simultaneously over Beijing, Moscow, London, and every major city on Earth. In the White House Situation Room, the president watched the feeds with growing concern. Kate Dawson stood nearby, her face pale. "What are we looking at, Major?" the president asked. "The council, sir. They're here." As if responding to her words, a massive ship appeared in Earth's orbit. It simply winked into existence, bypassing all defensive systems. Smaller craft descended into the atmosphere, hovering over major cities, but taking no hostile action. Global panic erupted. Social media exploded with videos and theories. Military forces worldwide went on high alert, but their leaders held them back, fearing the consequences of aggression. A single message broadcast on all frequencies, in all languages. "The Council demands an audience. Your world leaders will meet our representative in 12 hours. Location: United Nations headquarters." Lisa and Paul watched the news in their secret lab, horrified by what they had triggered. "Did we cause this?" Paul whispered. Lisa shook her head, but doubt showed in her eyes. "They were watching us already. Maybe this was inevitable." Paul checked the security of their prototype. "We need to hide this better. If they're looking for FTL technology, we need to finish it," Lisa said firmly. "This isn't just about scientific discovery anymore. It might be our only advantage." Paul stared at her. "You want to keep working. Now. Especially now." Lisa pulled up her calculations. "But we need palladium and a quantum stabilizer. The prototype won't scale up without them." Paul checked their supplies. "We don't have either." "I know where to get them," Lisa said, "but we'll need help." 12 hours later, the world watched as an alien being entered the United Nations building. The creature walked upright, but moved with unsettling grace. It wore a translucent suit that shimmered with lights. Its face remained hidden behind a reflective mask. Inside the General Assembly Hall, world leaders waited nervously. The visitor took the podium, introduced only as the messenger. When it spoke, its voice was strangely musical yet cold. "Your species was warned. The Council observes all developing worlds. Those who show potential for peaceful integration are welcomed. Those who demonstrate dangerous tendencies are guided. Those who refuse guidance are contained." The messenger paused, looking around the room. "Humanity has chosen to ignore our warning. You continue developing technologies you do not understand. You push boundaries that exist for good reason." "We are a curious species," the Secretary General responded carefully. "Exploration is in our nature. A nature incompatible with galactic peace," the messenger replied. "The Council has reviewed your history. War, environmental destruction, division. You cannot manage your own world, yet you seek to reach others." The messenger raised a slender arm. "We offer one final chance. Cease all faster-than-light research. Limit your space activities to your own planetary system. Accept quarantine until your species matures. And if we refuse?" asked the U.S. President. "Then observe." At that moment, all electronic devices worldwide went dead. Phones, computers, satellites, power grids. Everything stopped working simultaneously. Planes lost power, but somehow drifted safely to the ground. Hospitals went dark, but critical systems mysteriously remained functional. The entire planet went silent for exactly 3 minutes. Then, everything resumed as if nothing had happened. The messenger spoke again. "This was temporary. A demonstration, not punishment. The Council can impose permanent technological regression if necessary. You have 7 days to comply with all terms. We will know if you attempt deception." As the messenger left, Kate Dawson received urgent orders. She was to meet the Secretary of Defense immediately. The message was clear: find Lisa Graham's team and their prototype. Not to stop them, but to help them finish their work before the 7 days expired. The council had made their final warning, but humans never were good at listening. Kate sat alone in a secure meeting room, her hands still shaking from what she had seen. The Secretary of Defense had granted her access to the council's archives, shared reluctantly by the messenger as evidence of their power. For 6 hours, she had watched recordings of extinct civilizations, species that had reached for the stars and then simply disappeared. The images burned in her mind, worlds reduced to primitive states or abandoned entirely. The door opened and Eric Wells entered, carrying 2 cups of coffee. "You look like you've seen a ghost," he said, sliding a cup toward her. "I've seen hundreds of them." Kate accepted the coffee. "Entire civilizations gone because they wouldn't obey the council. Is that why they're afraid of us? Because we might end up like them?" Kate shook her head. "No, that's what I thought at first. But it's the opposite." She pulled up an image on her tablet. "Look at the council records of these extinct species. What do they have in common?" Eric studied the data. They all developed along predictable paths. Their technology evolved in almost identical sequences. "Exactly. Now look at humanity's development." She swiped to a new screen showing a chaotic jumble of technological advancements. "We're all over the place. We developed nuclear weapons before we cured polio. We went to the moon using computers less powerful than a modern calculator." Eric's eyes widened. "They don't fear our aggression. They fear our unpredictability. Our adaptability," Kate corrected. "And there's more. The council species all evolved on worlds with stable environments. Earth is chaotic. Ice ages, massive extinctions, rapid climate shifts. We evolved to survive sudden changes." Across the country, Lisa and Paul worked frantically in their hidden lab. The prototype now filled half the room, a complex array of equipment surrounding a central chamber. "The field is forming," Lisa said, checking her instruments. "But it's not stable." Paul adjusted several controls. "Try it now." Lisa activated the device. A shimmering bubble appeared in the test chamber, visible for several seconds before collapsing. "Better," Lisa said, "but still not enough for practical use." The door opened, and both scientists reached for improvised weapons. Kate Dawson entered with her hands raised. "Dr. Graham, Mr. Harrison, I'm Major Kate Dawson, United States Army. I'm here to help." "How did you find us?" Lisa demanded. "The same way the council could find you," Kate said. "Your energy signature isn't as hidden as you think." Paul stepped forward. "Are you here to shut us down?" "The opposite." Kate set a case on the table and opened it. Inside was a small cylinder of silvery metal and a black box, weapons-grade palladium, and a quantum stabilizer from a classified military project. Lisa stared in disbelief. "Why would you help us?" "The council." "The council is lying," Kate interrupted. "I've seen their records. They don't quarantine dangerous species. They eliminate them or reduce them to pre-industrial states. And they don't fear our weapons. They fear our minds." Lisa picked up the stabilizer, examining it carefully. "This changes everything. With this, we could complete a working prototype in days." "You have 5 days," Kate corrected. "And there's something else you should know about your technology." She handed Lisa a tablet. "Your FTL field operates in a dimensional space the council deliberately avoids. They call it unstable, but I think they're afraid of it." Paul looked up from the data. "This means our reckless approach might actually be an advantage." "The first advantage we found," Kate confirmed. As they spoke, news alerts flashed across a nearby screen. Someone had leaked documents proving that certain government officials had maintained secret contact with the council for decades. Public opinion was shifting rapidly, with protests forming outside government buildings worldwide. "People are angry," Paul noted, watching the footage. "Good," Kate said firmly. "Anger gets things done. And we need everyone working together now." Lisa turned back to her prototype, a new determination in her eyes. 5 days to save humanity. Let's get started. Outside, Hidden among the stars, more council ships arrived in Earth's solar system, positioning themselves for what was to come. The morning sky filled with council ships. They hung over major cities like silent watchers. No one could launch anything from Earth's surface without their knowledge. The blockade was complete. General Ford stood in the Pentagon's command center, watching as another military satellite went dark. "They're taking out our eyes in orbit," he told the assembled officers. "Not destroying them, just turning them off." A young lieutenant spoke up. "Sir, should we attempt to launch the new defense platform and show them exactly what we can do?" Ford shook his head. "No. Our job is to look helpless while buying time." The room fell silent as a video call connected. The president appeared on screen, looking tired but determined. "Operation Distraction is approved," he said simply. "Make it look good." Within hours, military forces worldwide began visible preparations for what looked like a coordinated attack against the council ships. Fighters were rolled out onto runways. Missile batteries were positioned. Naval vessels moved into strategic formations. It was all for show. The real mission happened far from watching eyes. In the Nevada desert, Lisa's team loaded their prototype into a heavily modified truck. The device now stood 7 feet tall, a marvel of human ingenuity built in just 3 days of non-stop work. "We need to reach the Mota facility," Lisa told Kate. "The underground bunker there has enough power to fully activate the drive." Kate checked her phone, reviewing secure messages. "The council is watching major highways. We'll need to take back roads." Paul closed the truck's reinforced doors. "Even with the shielding, they might detect the quantum fluctuations if we power it up during transport." "Then we don't power it up," Lisa said. "Not until we're there." Their small convoy, 3 ordinary-looking vehicles, pulled away from the hidden laboratory. Kate drove the lead car, scanning for any signs of council surveillance. Lisa and Paul followed in the truck carrying their precious cargo. A third vehicle with armed security brought up the rear. As they drove, Kate's mind returned to the records she'd studied. The council kept detailed information on every species they encountered, but humans were cataloged differently. Most species were classified by technology level or cultural development. Humans were labeled with a strange term that translated roughly to chaos adapted. Kate now understood this was both the reason for the council's fear and humanity's potential salvation. Miles away, in Washington, D.C., Eric Wells made a discovery that changed everything. He had continued analyzing the original council message, searching for hidden patterns. What he found sent him rushing to General Ford's office. "The council transmission contains genetic data," Eric explained, spreading his findings on the general's desk. "It's subtle, hidden in the carrier wave, but it's there." Ford studied the patterns. "What kind of genetic data?" "Human DNA," Eric said, "but with modifications I'd never seen. They've been studying us at the genetic level." "Why?" Eric pointed to specific sequences. "These appeared nowhere else in council records. We have genetic traits they've never encountered. And based on these patterns, they've been trying to understand how to replicate them." "They want our DNA," Ford realized. "Not just to study it, to take it," Eric finished, "to incorporate it into their own species." On the desert highway, the convoy approached a checkpoint, not a human one. A council drone hovered over the road ahead, scanning all passing vehicles. "Stay calm," Kate said over the radio. "Our cover should hold." The truck with the prototype slowed as it approached the scanning beam. Lisa held her breath. The drone's lights flashed from blue to yellow. "It's detected something," Paul whispered. The drone's lights turned red. More council craft appeared on the horizon, racing toward them. "They've found us," Kate said, hitting the accelerator. "Plan B now." The security vehicle behind them swerved, stopping in the middle of the road. Its roof opened, revealing a pulse weapon that fired at the approaching council ships. It wouldn't stop them, but it might slow them down. "Drive," Kate ordered through the radio. "Don't stop for anything." The truck carrying humanity's future raced across the desert, Council pursuers closing in from above. The chase that would determine Earth's fate had begun. The truck carrying the FTL prototype sped across the dusty desert roads. Paul drove while Lisa worked frantically in the back to stabilize the device after the rough journey. "How much farther?" Lisa called out. 20 miles to the Motive facility, Paul answered, gripping the steering wheel tightly. "If we make it." In the rearview mirror, he could see flashes of light as the security team fought a losing battle against the Council drones. Their sacrifice bought precious minutes, but Council ships were already regrouping to continue the pursuit. Kate's voice crackled over the radio. "More Council ships approaching from the east. We need to change course." Paul swerved onto a narrow side road that wasn't on any public maps. The military had built these access routes decades ago, during the Cold War. Now they served a new purpose. "The prototype is overheating," Lisa warned. "The stabilizer is struggling after that last bump." "Just keep it together for a few more miles," Paul urged. The Motive facility appeared ahead, a collection of small, unassuming buildings in the middle of nowhere. Its true size was hidden underground, a vast complex built into the desert floor. As they approached the entrance, hidden doors in the desert floor slid open, revealing a ramp leading below ground. The vehicles raced inside just as Council ships appeared overhead. The doors sealed shut behind them. Scientists and military personnel swarmed around the truck as it came to a stop in a large underground hangar. Lisa emerged, giving rapid instructions for the prototype's safe unloading. "Get it to the main power grid connection," she ordered. "And be careful with the quantum stabilizer. It's been damaged." Kate joined a group of officers gathered around a situation map. General Ford was there, having arrived by helicopter hours earlier. "The Council has surrounded the facility," Ford informed them. "They know we're here, but they haven't attacked yet." "They want what we're building," Kate said. "If they just wanted to stop us, they would have destroyed the convoy in the desert." A communications officer interrupted them. "Sir, the Council ambassador is broadcasting worldwide. You need to see this." On screens throughout the facility, the messenger appeared. Its voice was colder than before, with an edge of what might have been anger. "Humans of Earth, your deception has been noted. While your leaders pretended to consider our terms, you continued developing forbidden technology. The Council's patience is exhausted. You have forced us to implement species management procedures." The broadcast showed Council ships deploying strange devices in Earth's orbit. "These field generators will gradually reduce your technological capabilities to a pre-industrial state. The process will take 7 days to complete. This is not punishment, but necessary containment of a species that refuses peaceful coexistence." The broadcast ended. The room fell silent. "They're going to send us back to the Stone Age," someone whispered. "Not if we finish first," Lisa said, entering the room. "The prototype is connected to the power grid. We're ready for full activation." "Full activation of what exactly?" Ford asked. "Even if you create a working FTL drive, how does that help us against the Council's technology?" Lisa and Paul exchanged glances. "We don't just have an FTL drive," Paul explained. "We have the plans for a ship that can carry it. A small one, but enough for a crew of 5. "You want to run away?" Ford asked incredulously. "No," Kate interjected. "They want to take the fight beyond Earth. The Council controls this region of space, but what if there's something, or someone, beyond their reach?" Lisa nodded. "The dimensional space our drive accesses is something the Council avoids. Maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe we're not the first species to try escaping their control." Ford considered this. "You want to send a ship into unknown space in hopes of finding what? Allies? Other refugees from the Council?" "Hope," Lisa said simply. "We want to send hope. Because if we stay here, we lose everything." The general looked around the room at the determined faces. "How long to build this ship?" 3 days, Paul answered, "if everyone helps." "Then we have a new mission," Ford announced. Project Pandora begins now. We build this ship while the rest of our forces keep the Council looking elsewhere. Outside, Council ships continued to gather above the facility, not yet attacking, but waiting, monitoring, unaware that beneath their watchful eyes, humanity was planning their greatest act of defiance yet. 2 days passed in a blur of activity. The underground facility became a hive of non-stop work as the ship took shape. They named it Defiance, a fitting title for humanity's last hope. Lisa barely slept, moving between the ship's construction and the FTL drive installation. Paul managed the engineering teams, solving problems as they arose. Kate coordinated with military forces worldwide, ensuring their divergent tactics kept Council attention divided. On the surface, Council ships now hovered directly above the facility. They had not attacked, but their presence was a constant threat. Meanwhile, their orbital devices had begun their work. Across the globe, advanced technology started failing. Quantum computers went offline first, followed by the newest AI systems. The technological regression had begun. Eric Wells arrived at the facility with new information. Kate met him in the crowded command center. "I've been analyzing Council communication patterns," Eric explained, spreading data charts on the table. They're worried. The quiet species they expected to contain is proving difficult. "Good," Kate said. "What else?" Eric lowered his voice. "I found records of previous species who challenged the Council. They simply vanish from all galactic records afterward. No mention of destruction or containment. They just disappear. Erased from history," Kate mused. Or they escaped somewhere the Council couldn't follow." Eric finished her thought. Their conversation was interrupted as the facility shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. "What was that?" Eric asked. Kate checked the monitors. "The Council is getting impatient. They're using sonic weapons to probe the ground." General Ford entered the command center, looking grim. "They've issued their final ultimatum. We have 48 hours to surrender all advanced technology, including Dr. Graham's prototype. After that, they'll switch from passive containment to active measures. The ship will be ready in 36 hours, Kate informed him. "But we need a launch window." Ford nodded. "Operation Global Thunder begins in 47 hours. Every remaining military asset on Earth will create simultaneously electromagnetic disturbances to blind Council sensors. It won't last long, but it might be enough." "Who's going on the ship?" Eric asked. "Dr. Graham has selected her crew," Ford replied. 5 people. That's all Defiance can carry." In the main hangar, the ship stood nearly complete. It wasn't beautiful, a cobbled-together collection of the best technology humans could build under pressure. But its ugly, practical design housed the most advanced drive system ever created. Lisa climbed out of the engine compartment, wiping grease from her hands. Paul approached with a tablet showing final calculations. "I've run every simulation," he said. "Best case, we have a 40% chance of successful dimensional transition." "And worst case?" Lisa asked. Paul hesitated. "Complete molecular disintegration." Lisa nodded, accepting the risk. "Have you decided?" "About going?" "Yes. I'm in." "Kate's in too," Lisa said. "She understands the Council better than anyone. We need her." "That's 3, Paul counted. "Who else?" "Dr. Chen from quantum physics, and surprisingly, Eric Wells. His communication skills might help us if we find anyone out there." The facility shook again, harder this time. Warning lights flashed as dust and small pieces of concrete fell from the ceiling. "They're getting more aggressive with their probing," Paul noted. Lisa looked up at their creation. "We might not have 36 hours after all." In the living quarters section, Kate sat alone, recording messages for her family. Each crew member was allowed one final communication before departure. None of them expected to return. "Mom, Dad," she began, fighting back tears. "By the time you see this, I'll be gone. I can't tell you where, and I don't know if I'll ever make it back. But I want you to know why I'm doing this. She paused, gathering her thoughts. The Council thinks they understand humans. They think we're chaotic, unpredictable, dangerous. And maybe we are. But they don't understand that those same qualities make us fight harder when backed into a corner. They don't understand that humans never, ever give up. Another tremor shook the room, stronger than before. An alarm began to sound. Kate looked directly into the camera. I have to go now. Remember me. And no matter what happens in the next few days, keep believing. Defiance isn't just a ship, it's who we are. She ended the recording and rushed toward the hangar. The final countdown had begun sooner than expected. Alarms blared throughout the facility. Council ships had begun a more aggressive scan, using technology that could penetrate deeper underground. The launch would need to happen now, or not at all. Operation Global Thunder must start immediately, General Ford ordered, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. All stations, begin electromagnetic pulse sequence. Around the world, hidden human resistance cells activated devices designed to create massive energy disturbances. Power stations deliberately overloaded. Military installations fired specialized weapons into the atmosphere. Amateur radio operators globally broadcast on specific frequencies. The combined effect created a planet-wide electromagnetic storm that temporarily blinded Council sensors. In the Moha facility, the crew of Defiance rushed through final preparations. The ship was not fully tested, but there was no more time. Engine status. Lisa called out as she strapped herself into the pilot's seat. FTL drive at 87% stability. Paul reported from the engine room. Not ideal, but it should hold. Kate secured the navigation systems while Eric and Dr. Chen finished loading critical data archives. Humanity's scientific and cultural knowledge compressed into quantum storage devices. If we don't make it back, Kate said, at least some part of Earth will survive out there. Outside the ship, General Ford supervised the opening of the facility's hidden launch doors. Massive concrete slabs slid apart, revealing a vertical shaft to the surface. It had originally been built to test experimental aircraft away from prying eyes. Now it would serve as Defiance's escape route. Launch window confirmed, a technician reported. Council sensors are experiencing maximum disruption. Estimated duration, 3 minutes, 40 seconds. Ford approached the ship for a final word. The fate of our species travels with you, he told the crew. But remember, even if you fail, what you've proven today matters. They thought we would submit. We didn't. Lisa nodded. We'll find help out there, she promised. Somehow. Godspeed, Ford said, stepping back as the ship's hatch sealed. The countdown began. Around the facility, the remaining personnel rushed to reinforce shelters. The launch would expose their location completely, and Council retaliation would be swift. Launch in 10, 9, 8. Inside Defiance, the crew performed final checks. The engines hummed with increasing power. 7, 6, 5. Lisa's hands tightened on the controls. Paul monitored the FTL drive stability. 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch, Lisa commanded, pushing the throttle forward. Defiance shot upward through the shaft, accelerating with tremendous force. The electromagnetic interference created the perfect cover as they burst into open air. Council ships, momentarily blind, scrambled to respond. We have 15 seconds before their systems adapt, Kate warned as they climbed higher. Activating FTL drive, Paul announced, his voice tense with concentration. The ship shuddered as the experimental drive engaged. Around them, space began to distort. They're locking onto us, Eric called from the sensor station. Through the viewports, they could see Council ships turning toward them, weapons charging. Drive at full power, Lisa reported. Dimensional transition in 3, 2, 1. The universe seemed to fold around them. Stars blurred and stretched. A Council weapon fired, but too late. Defiance slipped between dimensions, vanishing from normal space with a flash of impossible light. In the Council flagship, The messenger watched in disbelief as human signatures completely disappeared from their sensors. What should have been impossible had happened. The ambassador immediately sent an urgent transmission to the Council. The human ship had accessed prohibited dimensional spaces, regions the Council had avoided for millennia due to what lived there. On Earth, the brief victory celebration in the Mohav facility was cut short as Council ships positioned themselves overhead. But instead of the expected attack, something strange happened. The ships began to withdraw, pulling back to higher orbits. General Ford watched in confusion as the orbital regression devices suddenly deactivated. "What's happening?" a junior officer asked. "I don't know," Ford admitted, "but they look afraid." Within hours, all Council ships broke orbit, retreating to the edge of the solar system. Their final message was brief and confused. Quarantine protocols revised. Limited observation only. Approach with extreme caution. Somewhere beyond normal space, Defiance emerged into a strange region where physics behaved differently. As the crew recovered from the disorienting transition, a signal reached their communications array. "Unknown vessel," came a voice in perfect English. "We've been waiting for you. Welcome to the Resistance." Eric looked up from his console in shock. "It's not just one signal," he said. "There are dozens, hundreds." On the main view screen, ships of various designs appeared, vessels from civilizations thought long extinct. "This is Dr. Lisa Graham of Earth," Lisa responded, her voice steady despite her amazement. "We seek allies against the Galactic Council." The reply came immediately. "You found them. We've been gathering strength for centuries, waiting for a species like yours. Together, we can finally challenge the Council's rule." Kate smiled for the first time in days. "Tell them," she said to Lisa, "that humanity is ready to join the fight." As Defiance moved to join the fleet of refugee species, a new chapter in galactic history began, one where the Council would learn that giving humans a final warning was their final mistake.